Hello and welcome back to Business Happy Hour. I didn't have coffee this time, guys. Don't worry, I have coffee. So good. If you don't have an espresso, like, what are you doing? I remember discovering the Nespresso and this was years ago. Like, we've had an espresso for a while, and I'm like, why are people still using Keurigs? I don't get it. I can't drink Keurig coffee. Like I simply can't, but I'm also like a little bit of a coffee snob now, which is funny because I never even used to drink coffee. Anywho, I needed a quick pause for a sneeze. I've had this like I don't know, respiratory situation ever since the wedding. It like went away for a little and it's clearly not contagious because Austin hasn't gotten it. I don't know if it's allergies or what the hell it is. But anywho, I'm excited for our conversation today. I don't know why I feel like I don't talk about this that much. But Instagram stories, what the fuck are you supposed to do with them? What are you supposed to say? How often are you supposed to say it? How many stories are you supposed to post a day? Like all of these questions that we have, right? So we're going to dive into it today. A little life update first. So back to my coffee situation. So I am actually I was debating on making a coffee, but I was like, I need a coffee if I'm gonna create an episode that anybody doesn't want their fucking ears bleeding. I need coffee. So I was debating it because I actually just created a new local networking group. And I was like, oh, I'm going to call it Caffeinated Connections. And my idea was to basically create this group where we do coffee meetups. And we go, we co work, we brainstorm, we talk about our businesses. It's pretty much all small business owners. And we just hang out and I'm really excited about it. Today's the first one. So, anyway, back to my point of this is that right after this, I'm going to host that at the La Colombe by us because La Colombe is the best. And I think I was telling you guys last week that, or 2 weeks ago, that they have this new cereal milk latte and it is just to die for. So, all of that to be said, I'm like, I'm going there right after. I shouldn't have coffee before that. It's a 2 cup day. It's fine, guys. Okay. So, that's the story you didn't ask for. And I want to give you kind of like some insight into my brain a little bit because I always love podcast episodes where I'm like, oh, that's why she did that. It's so interesting to me, like why certain people do things in business. Now, obviously, I want to network with people. Obviously, I want to get coffee with people. Love that shit, right? But my intention behind it was twofold. One, I have so many connections in the online world, but from the real estate perspective of things, I don't have as many connections in Philly as I would say I would like online, right? So I'm like, I need to really increase my network in Philly. And I was like, why don't I create it myself? Right? Like this is the vibe. This is my vibe, the trend where I'm just like, if it doesn't exist, I'm creating it myself. And obviously there are networking things and such that do exist in Philly. But I was like, there's no like the type of networking I want to do. I don't want to go to a big event. Sometimes I do, right? But typically, I just want to grab coffee. I just want to talk to people. I don't want to go to a big event where I have to talk to a million people and it's surface level conversations for the entire event. Like, I want to get coffee with 5 to 8 women where we all get to talk about our own businesses. We get to actually connect. You're not having to bounce around the room. You're not feeling uncomfortable because you're like, there's so many people here. Who do I go talk to? How do I talk about my business? Like, this is a place where people can come and feel okay talking about their business. It's like, yeah, fucking pitch yourself, girl. Like, get after it. I'm all here for it. Okay. Um, so that's kind of my brain behind that. Now, obviously, you don't need to be a small business owner to buy a home in Philly, but for me, I'm like, oh, this is a great niche. Why don't I help small business owners get homes? Right? So, very excited for that. We'll see how it goes. I was joking with my friend who's also in real estate. She's at the same brokerage as I am. And I was like, it might just be us. And if it is, that's okay. Right? Like I feel like over the years I've just gotten to a point where I'm like, sometimes I'm talking to myself, sometimes I'm in rooms by myself. Like you have to be comfortable showing up when no one is watching, no one is talking back to you, no one is reading, all the things. You just have to keep doing it because it's going to happen. Okay. So I'm excited about that. I'll let you guys know how it goes. But as far as our conversation goes today, I want to start off a little bit kind of talking about the evolution of Instagram stories. So, Instagram stories had come out pretty much right when I had started my business. So, I remember I started in September of 20, was it 18? Whenever it was. I think no, it was 19, 2019, okay? September of 2019. I'm pretty sure stories came out. Let's do a quick little Google search here. When did Instagram stories come out? I want to say it was 2020. No, August 2016? There's no way. That's not real. That is not real. Guys, what? Hold on. I need to pause this. I need to dig into this. One moment. All right, I guess my memory is not serving me correctly. Apparently, Instagram stories came out in August of 2016, which is crazy. I was still in college then. So August of 2016. Okay. Well, regardless, I guess I was thinking about Reels. Reels was August of 2020. So anyway, I started my business in August of 2019. And I guess in my mind, what my mind is thinking about is how I util how Instagram stories have been utilized. I feel like up until like 2019, apparently when they existed, there wasn't much like people were still trying to kind of figure out Instagram stories, right? It was very much like the uh the quick and potent kind of like ways to consume, I feel like was like Snapchat, right? It was like, oh, that's like what I'm doing in the moment. Instagram stories was like, how do I use this? Right? I feel like a lot of people didn't use it at first, which is crazy because if you go back to like your archive, I don't know if it goes back that far, but it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm sure it's very interesting to see like how far what kind of stories you're doing. Anyway, that threw me off because I was not expecting him to say 2016. Okay, back to the program. So, all of that being said, I remember in August of 2019, September of 2019, when I was starting my business, I needed to start to show up face to camera style on stories. So maybe that's why it's significant to me because I was like, I need to show up on stories and I need to talk on stories, and this is so uncomfortable. And I will never forget this. I will never forget this. But I was showing up consistently. I had my business coach at the time. She was helping me with like what to say, all the things. And I was really proud of like, you know what? I'm just going for this and I don't give a shit what people think. And then it was honestly like nobody was really giving me feedback. Everybody was like, good for you for getting on, like very supportive. And my one best friend, who was actually my maid of honor at my wedding, she was like, I forget exactly the word she used. She wasn't mean at all, but she was just something along the lines of like, you should like bring some more enthusiasm into it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm boring. I'm awkward. I'm boring, like spiraling, right? But I was really glad she said that because I looked back at it because I had never previously looked back at my stories. I was like doing them in the moment. I was like, oh, this is great. This is amazing, right? And then when I actually was like, let me go see what she's talking about, I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking boring. I look uncomfortable. I look awkward. And I was. It's normal. you're not used to recording yourself. But it's really funny when I go look back. Like you can even do it. If you go on my Low and Lemons nutrition page and you scroll back to 2019, you're going to be like, who is that? Like, obviously, I look really young, but also I just am awkward as hell. Awkward as hell. Okay. So, with that, I was like, I need to amplify how I'm showing up. Who the hell's going to show up? Who's going to sign up for my programs when I have zero confidence? Zero confidence on these stories. I was doing the thing. I was proud of myself for doing the thing, but I needed to evolve. I needed to adapt. Now, in the past, this is kind of how it's evolved, right? In the past, you could show up on stories for like, I think it was only 15 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds at first that you could show up for like a whole, or no, oh my gosh, guys, stories didn't used to be broken up. Stories didn't used to be broken up. That's what it was. So I would just fucking press play and I would just talk, which is crazy. And people would watch. There was no like story drop offs. Hold on. Now I need to pause and make sure I'm correct on this as well. Okay, I couldn't find anything on it to be honest with you, but I believe that's what it used to be. All I know is that the way that people consume things has evolved extraordinarily. Okay. So the way that people consume content, TV shows, all of these things, TV and movies haven't really changed that much, which is really interesting. But on social media, people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay. So maybe it wasn't that you could keep talking on Instagram. Maybe it was that it was 15 seconds and they extended it to 60. But I feel like send me a message if you guys remember this, please, so I don't feel freaking crazy. But I feel like it was you could record for however long you wanted, and then they broke it up into 15 seconds, and then they brought it into 60 seconds. But let me know your thoughts on that. But either way, Instagram stories has evolved. So I want to talk a little bit about what I typically see people doing on Instagram stories now and what is kind of like old age, no longer working, and what is currently working today. Okay. So I know one of the things that is so common is whether it's on Instagram stories or it's in your content, there are so many business owners that get super excited, right? We have like this whole plan, whether it's a content plan or maybe you don't even have a content plan, which if you don't, you need Content Catalyst. But you're excited to show up on social media. You have this new page, maybe there's a new logo, whatever it is. You're like, I'm putting my offer out there. This is so exciting. I can't wait. I'm going to show up every day. Okay. And you come in with all this momentum, all this excitement. Maybe even you get on stories and you start posting and you're like, damn, that was fucking good. Like, this is gonna go viral. I'm gonna get so many clients from this story, only to hear crickets, right? You're like, I got my hair and makeup done. I need to show up on face to camera style. I know what I'm gonna talk about. I'm feeling so passionate today, right? Like, oh my gosh, I have this whole experience that I had with this client, or I had my own experience I want to share. And then you hear crickets and you're like, what the fuck? So no one cares? No one cares about my story? Like, what the hell, right? And then you feel defeated. You lose all that steam, you lose all that momentum, and you go ghost. Maybe for 5 days, maybe for 2 weeks, maybe for a month. And you're like, F this. I get so excited. I think it's so good. I really have confidence that it's going to convert into clients and nothing happens. So it's like these highs and lows of like, I'm so excited and then just constantly being kicked down, right? So you're feeling like showing up was a waste of time and you just say like, why bother? What's the point of showing up? No one is even reaching out, no one's DMing me, no one's saying anything, right? So Then you get back on the wagon. You're like, okay, I need to get back on Instagram. I need to get back on my stories. I need to do better. But then you're overwhelmed because you're like, well, last time didn't work. So now I need a new strategy. So now it's not only do I need to get back on Instagram, it's I need to get back on Instagram and I need a new strategy and I need to figure out what to say. And it becomes this like bigger Jenga tower. It just keeps building. And you're like, each time it's harder and harder to show up again. Right. So there's a few things we can do. Number one, scripts. Not scripts of like, this is exactly what to say, but I guess I should say templates. Templates of how do you actually sell on stories? Because when that Jenga tower is building and you're feeling frustrated, it's just another layer to that tower to have to be like, okay, not only do I need to make myself show up today, I need to figure out what to say that's actually going to move the needle, that's not going to waste my time. So I highly, 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 highly recommend templates. Now, people shit on templates. I'm a huge fucking fan of templates and I give them to my clients. Now, once you get to a certain place in business and you don't need them anymore, that's different. But if you've never done this before, how the hell are you supposed to know how to structure stories? Right? And I'm very excited because you guys are actually the first to hear about this because this is dropping on July 8th and in July 15th is going to be the day that I'm dropping a very special offer. It's going to be less than $30 and I'm going to give you access to some of my Instagram story templates that have quite literally made myself and my clients thousands of dollars. So if you want that, and if you want in early, because there is going to be a cap, DM me right now on Instagram stories, and I'll send you the link so that you can get in early and we can get you all set up. You can take advantage of the under $30 price point. Make sure you don't miss out. It is going to be epic. I'm so excited. So I didn't sound very excited there, but I am. Okay. So number one is templates. It's going to help so much when that feeling of defeat is coming up, when you're like, what the hell? Nothing's working. Now I don't even know what to say because everything I said before didn't work. You can always come back to these templates. And it's also something that I give you a myriad of in Content Catalyst, which I also have a special secret for you. Content Catalyst is now going to be included in the VIP tier of your Business Empire membership. So again, if you have questions about that, feel free to shoot me a DM. Now, the second thing with your stories is basically what I've been hitting on this whole time. It's the mindset behind it, which is honestly in entrepreneurship, the hardest fucking part of the whole job. It truly is battling your own mind. The spiraling thoughts, the do I need to go look on Indeed for jobs? Am I ever going to get another client in my whole life? And then it happens. And you're like, okay, we're good. Right now, with the mindset on stories, one thing I want you to take away from this is a few things, actually. One, I have had so many instances where a few things have happened. Either, let's say I'm in a launch period and I'm like, where the hell is everybody? Where is everyone? This isn't normal. Usually I have so many more inquiries in this, whatever it is. Okay. Now, there's obviously a ton of things that we can go ahead and we can look at. Whether is there urgency? What's your messaging look like? What's the offer? Is it something people actually want? Have you sold it before? Right? All these things. But with stories and with mindset, there's been multiple times where I haven't changed my strategy. I haven't changed the messaging. I haven't changed the urgency. I haven't changed the offer. And I just kept posting about it. And day one goes by, day two goes by, day three goes by, day four goes by, crickets. And I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? And again, it depends on the offer. If it's a master class and it's like 2 weeks away, some people might wait a little bit longer to get in. But I always have to remind myself, I've had people sign up for my programs, my master classes, my low ticket offers, my high ticket offers the day of a program starting. Multiple times. Multiple times. Content Catalyst, I think I've like in like 3 rounds, people have signed up the day of. I remember getting on a phone call with someone because I'm like, holy shit, she wants to join. We're starting tomorrow. Like, I don't have time to go back and forth in the DM. So I'm like, what's your phone number? Let's have a conversation. And she's like, okay, I'm in. Great. That's happened actually probably more than 3 times. I like keep thinking of clients that have done that. So can you imagine what would have happened if I stopped posting about it? Because I was like, it's over. No one else is going to join. We get this like complacency. And mid-year mastery actually starts today. And at the time of recording this, I have 5 out of the 6 spots filled. And there's been a few times where I'm like, should I really keep posting about it or should I just be good with 5? And I'm like, Lauren, what the hell are you thinking? No, you need to keep talking about this. It's an offer that people need. It's going to be epic. Like, don't get lazy because I do that sometimes because we're all allowed to be lazy sometimes. But it's also like, is it lazy or is it complacency? And are you okay with complacency? Are you okay with mediocre? And I'm not. So I'm going to keep talking about it. And if that spot fills, lovely. I know that it was worth my time. If it doesn't, totally okay. I still know it was worth my time because my ideal clients are still seeing me show up for myself, my business, and keeping me top of mind when they need me. Okay. So having the mindset of like every single story needs to convert is not going to be helpful. It's not going to be helpful for you. It's really not. Shifting your mindset to every story that I put out serves a purpose. Okay. And this leads me to the story method that I teach, and I call it the sprinkle story method. Now, what I do is because of the way that the online space is, because there's so much going on, because people need to have things broken down for them in marketing and sales. Everything in life is complicated. Buying something should not be. Buying something should be the easiest thing for your audience. It's not going to be if you're giving them every single little detail at once. Okay. So the sprinkle story method is where I teach you what to talk about each day. And again, this is in Content Catalyst. What do you talk about each day? So that they're not getting overwhelmed, because they are not going to sign up if you're saying, this is how many calls, this is the transformation, this is what chat support looks like, this is what your worksheets look like. They're going to be like, what? You need to be potent with the one thing that you're talking about that day. Okay. So templates will help you to stay consistent because you'll know what to say. You just have to plug and play. Your mindset will allow you to also be consistent because you need to know that you are going to continue to show up despite the outcome. You could show up for 10 days straight and hear crickets, and the 11th day, that's when you get someone. But if you didn't post that 11th day, you'd never know that you would have gotten someone. And then lastly, reducing the overwhelm. We want to reduce the overwhelm on stories because they're going to drop off. Your people are going to drop off. They're not going to get all the information they need. They're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to lose them. Okay. So dripping out, sprinkling out that information is extremely, extremely important. Okay. Now, all of these things I'm going to cover in depth on what's coming. Okay. It's going to be incredible. I'm so excited. And if you want in, send me a DM right now after you listen to this. Send me a DM, stories. I'll give you a special offer. Less than $30. It's it's going to be a good time, guys. If you really want to know how you can utilize stories to sell your programs without the drama, without worrying whether or not it's going to convert, like this strategy that I use is literally how I make all my money. It's literally how I get people DMing me keywords. It's literally how I start conversations and how I get clients. Like stories is the place to be if you want to sell your program online. Okay. So send me a DM. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you have time to leave a 5-star review, I would greatly appreciate it. All this information I do in my free time. And leaving a review or 5 stars just helps me keep going. So thank you guys so much. I will see you in the new offer that I have not revealed the name yet, but you will get special pricing if you DM me stories. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.